Welcome. So what we're going to do today is take a look at working with fixed price or quoted work orders. So to dive right in, we're going to go to Setup, Service, Call Types. In here, you can add new call types, or if you're just looking for which ones are going to be fixed price, it's the ones missing the rate sheet. So the rate sheet is what you use for a T&M work order. So obviously, if there's no rate sheet, you got a fixed price work order. So the deal here is the type. So the type is listed as small job as opposed to service. The description is just that. It is just a text label. You can change it anytime. You can call it anything you want. Frequently we see this just as a quoted job or construction, installation, whatever the buzzword is for your company. So getting down here to some of your selections, service at center, that's more of a tax issue. So if somebody walks in your door and buys a part from you or asks you to fabricate something, the tax should be your office. Most of the time this stuff is done at the client location, so the tax is their office. In any event, WIP accounting, work in process, the debits will accumulate on the balance sheet, and then when you close or bill the work order, they will move to the income statement. So again, that's just a check or uncheck. It is locked down. Once you set up the call type, you can't change it. But when you do, if you're adding a new call type, just select the appropriate box there. Closed when invoiced. T&M, many times you're going to bill it once. With a fixed price, you're going to bill it maybe more than once, so you don't check the box. But a T&M, typically you would check that box. Um, Over here on the products, this is your GL interface. So this is where it's typically going to pick up a default cost account for these top handful. The bottom one there, small job sales, that's where it's going to get the default revenue account. And it's just the base account. It's typically the 4 or 5 digits on the end of your GL code, the 4000 series account. That's where it's going to pick it up from. All right, we're going to hit OK there, hit done. We're going to go in here to Allstate University. We're going to add a work order. And we're going to say new. So top left, your location, top right, who's getting the bill. Then the center is your division that's doing the work typically. There are other department codes in here. We're going to hit next. You can see the default call type is service. Default work order type is service, so that's T&M. We're going to select construction in this case. So now you see it switches to small job. You do have to pick a problem code. That is where it's going to pick up priority, department, that kind of stuff. Location comments, we're going to say replace AC unit. All right, this comments area, you got 2 or 3 sentences, be nice and brief. Obviously, I'm just doing this as a demo, so I'm not going to get too terribly formal there. Sales lead, lead source, and salesman, you can certainly use all those. Typically with a quoted deal, a lot of times you do have a salesman running around town and giving out quotes, so you can use that salesman field there to track, whose quote originally this was. We'll hit next. Here's your sale. We're going to say $5,000. There's your product, what GL code it's going to hit. We're going to build in some estimated hours. We'll say 7. We'll say the total cost of that, $500. When we get down to parts, this is going to be anything coming out of your parts list. And it could be inventory, it could be PO, but the item has to be in your parts list. So we'll say $200. Miscellaneous is everything else. Again, it can be out of your miscellaneous list, or it can be free typed on the fly, or it can come through a PO. It's just not in the parts list. So we'll say 300 there. So you can see on the bottom, it gives us a total cost and a total gross margin, which, boy, that seems a little high. So let's add some money there. All right, we don't want to get too greedy here. All right, so you got a total cost and an estimated gross margin. We'll hit next. PO if you need one. There's your location of sale, tax issues again. And we'll cover some of these standard items here and maybe another time. If you leave this area blank, don't check deactivate, don't schedule. We're going to leave that blank for now, so it will stay a quote. We'll hit next. And then no, we're not going to print the work order. We're going to hit finish. So now you can see that it is a quote right there. The status is quote. It's not a work order. You cannot add cost to it right now. It is just a quote. Quotes can expire after a certain number of days. If you go into your SM settings, work orders, over here on the top right, quotes expire after 30 days. You can change that to 60, 90, whatever you want. We'll hit OK. Task, daily processing. So theoretically, this is run every morning. You can see right on the very top, expire job quotes. So after that 30-day, 60-day mark, whatever you set, they do expire. There is a status called expired quote. If it expires and you still want to honor the quote, you just right-click, activate it anyway. It's no big deal. Hit cancel. If you want a list of all your quotes, reports, work orders by status, just select the quote field, or if you go to view work orders, you can sort this list by status, and it is alphabetical, of course. So if you type in a Q, it'll jump down to your quotes and they'll all be there together. Or you can probably add a filter up here and you can just filter on all the quotes. All right. So back over on the quote deal. If I double click it, I'm going to add some notes. I'll say new, and I'll say all parts and labor to install new AC unit. This area here on the notes, I'm not going to say it's technically unlimited, but it's going to be virtually unlimited. You can copy paste from Word in here. You can write a book in here. Pretty much this is your catch-all. So we'll hit next and finish. All right, so now I'm going to do other actions, or you can right click on the work order over there on the right. We're going to say preview quote. So now you have a nice little job quote. Down here, replace AC unit 5,000. There's your details. Little place to sign. It's crystal. You can put in a logo. You can put in some legalese down here that are just kind of boilerplate standard stuff. So there we go. We're going to close that. Now what we're going to do is we're going to right click. We're going to activate the quote. Now when you activate it, it does walk you through all these tabs again. You do have the opportunity to change them now or anytime later, frankly. Hit next, next, next. It's automatically activated. Schedule. Let's add it to Dennis here. We're going to hit finish. All right, so now I have an open work order. And you can see right below there is the demo that I did earlier that didn't work out very well. So anyway, we're going to hit the double click this one, add some cost to it. We're going to hit the register. We'll add some labor cost. If you'll notice, it's a little different color here than it is when you do a T&M. And as you just tab through, we'll say 4 hours. Get my little warning there. So it is NA. Since you're not billing at T&M, you're billing at fixed price. You got the Y up there that yes, this is covered. It's all part of the same package. So we did a labor line. Naturally, you can do as many labor lines as you want coming in from your time card, coming in from your remote system, whatever. We'll add some parts. I'm just trying to make sure that when I run a report, I got all my buckets filled in here. We'll add one of those. Tab again, we'll add some miscellaneous stuff. One item, we'll say it costs, let's see, $250. Now again, that can certainly come in via purchase order. I'm just not going to deviate into entering a purchase order. So you enter all your stuff in here via cost. You get a nice little cost report if you want over on the cost tab. Other actions, or I'm going to hit OK here. Or if you right click, preview job analysis, you'll get a nice little report showing there's your estimated sale, estimated cost, where you're at with your actuals, where you're at with percent complete. Again, this is Crystal also, so you can certainly add a little detail report here on the bottom that shows all those costs in detail if you'd like. We're going to hit close. Now we're going to bill it. So billing it is a double click or a right click, whichever you'd like. So in this case, we'll go ahead and double click. We'll hit the little create invoice button. You can put in a percent complete. You can put in dollars, whatever you'd like. It'll backfill or hit final and it will do the whole thing. So we'll hit OK. And it's going to start walking me through my invoice steps. What invoice date do you want? What PO number do you want? Who's the bill going to? Next. Here's your kind of last chance to bail out. Next. Or next to last chance. Now I can close it if I want to. So if it is finished, I can close it. And no, I'm not going to print it in this instance. And hit finish. All right. So now it is a closed work order since I did final bill it and I did click close work order. So if I double click, I will have a list of all my invoices. I can right click those and print them. The balance is NA because it has not posted to AR yet, but frankly, typically the balance is going to, isn't going to work that great anyway. You do want to use AR for all your real balances and such. Over here, there's your cost tab like we looked at earlier. And if you're really fascinated, there's all the accounting entries, all the debits, credits, including the revenue. All right, that little preview job analysis still works even after it's closed, so you can still run that. You can right click and reopen the work order. If for whatever reason, maybe you build it up front or maybe you had cost come in late, reopen it, add the cost, reclose it. A couple reports to look at. Reports, work orders, small job profitability. You do have two different reports in here. There is a detail report and a summary report. And you do typically just run these by work order number. So we'll say 23200. Run that one. And so the summary one is going to be just like this, obviously, except without this detail on the bottom. So the summary will be basically just this top line that you see here. It just drops out the detailed information right there. All right. So we'll close that. And that's the gist of your small job work orders. The only thing we didn't really touch on was taxes, for instance. So your taxes do pick up off the service site. It does tax that entire $5,000. There is not a way to tax just 2,000 of the 5,000, for instance. So it does assume that that entire amount is either taxable or non-taxable. It's one or the other. It's obviously not a combination. So if you're in an area where you do have different tax laws or something else you got to deal with, we just wouldn't run them this way. We can run kind of a pseudo quoted work order on a T&M, and that's what we would need to do. So there we are. I hope you learned something today. If you have any questions or comments, please visit our website and shoot us an email, or if you have any ideas for future stuff. Thank you. Hopefully you enjoyed today's video, or maybe better yet, learned something. If you have any questions or ideas for future videos, please drop us an email at the email address there on the screen, support@dsgtecharc.com. We are a full-service consulting firm, generally working on service management, Sage Service Operations, Sage 300 and 100, and we do a significant amount of Crystal Reports work and personalized training. So we do have arrangements with the majority of the business partners in the United States. So if you need a hand with something, again, please drop us an email. We'll be happy to take care of you. Thank you.